Hey YouTube, another video. I got another product for you guys that we're launching from Moegneto Audio. We've actually launched it already, but I wanted to go ahead and take this moment to do a detailed review, show you guys our second line of subwoofers we're releasing. This is going to be our SQL, so sound quality level subwoofers, low profile. So I wanted to go ahead and do a complete unboxing for you, a detailed overview, check out the subwoofer, and then we'll put it on a test bench and get it mounted and show you guys some music play on it. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Here we are. So we got it. Currently only have these in 12 inches as that's the most popular design at the moment and they sell the most. So we do plan on bringing them in 10s. But the 12s just seem to be very, very popular. So you can see very well packaged in regards to some good old thick foam. Boom, you don't care about that. But let's go ahead and wrap it. And here it is, the 12 SQL D4. So this is a dual 4-ohm voice coil, low profile subwoofer. You'll see the carbon wound cone, carbon wound dust cap. We use butyl rubber surround. We've got the rubber gasket frame gasket here. That sounded redundant, but really, really sleek. Love how this looks, love how it sounds. And it's great because nowadays, as you guys are aware, we're really limited in space in our vehicles, cars, SUVs, trucks, and we really don't want to take up all that space with boxes. So this is why we were able to kind of bring this to market for lower lower profile fits, but really added some cool features in here. So let's start with dimensions first. Again, your standard 12-inch subwoofer as far as dimensions. So edge to edge, you know, whatever, 12 and a half. Cone area, you're looking about 8 3/4. The dust cap, I think it's a 6-inch dust cap. Nope, 5 1/4 inch dust cap there. Also carbon, not the fake plastic stuff, real carbon, guys. So this was really cool for rigidity, as well as being able to soften up some of the soft components for those great all-around bass notes. So again, you know how I feel about the butyl rubber. I really like it versus the foam. Foam, though it's getting better, obviously deteriorates over time, especially in harsh environments like vehicles where it gets really hot, really cold, and there's a lot of moisture in there. So this is built to last. Looking at overall depth, if we take the depth there, we're talking about 3.25 inches, so 3 1/4 inch deep. So very low profile for those that are limited for under seat, behind the seat enclosures. Let's look at the back here. You can see the low profile frame. So we'll zoom in a little bit on it. There we go. Low profile frame. This is aluminum, as you can see. Nothing sticks like my magnet. So cast aluminum. Cast aluminum or aluminum frame. We got dual sets of push spring terminals that are color coded from the bottom and the side for ease of use. These actually can handle the 8-gauge wire. So I've got my 8-gauge wire here and can easily fit 8-gauge, though it is overkill. This subwoofer is rated for 400 watts RMS, 800 watts peak. It is a all copper voice coil on an aluminum former. It's a 2-inch voice coil, hence why it's only rated for about 400 watts RMS, which is still very respectable for these lower profile subwoofers. So again, dual push spring terminals. We've got the flat tensile leads here, so still pretty beefy for that size. We got a dual spider ring. So let me see if I can zoom in on that here. We got dual spider ring that holds the spider in place, Teflon hybrid material for the spider itself. And so overall, really, really sleek. Really like it. They sound great. I can't stress how good they sound in all different music genres. And been very pleased with it, especially the fact that here in Texas, we get a lot of folks that have trucks, SUVs, and they just don't want to take up all that space for good quality bass. So that being said, let's go ahead and look at the motor. I guess there's really not much to measure here, but the overall diameter of that motor bottom plate, you're talking about 5 3/4, so 5.75 inches. Talked about the depth, pretty low profile, a lot of good ventilation in regards to the vented pole. And then we also obviously have this sleek looking frame here. So that being said, really cool. So this is rated for a VAS, I think of about 7.5 liters, which comes out to approximately 0.3 cubic feet. The resonance frequency on this one, I think is like, I'll have to check. I believe it's 32 Hertz or something like that, which is traditionally higher than what you would expect for a big SPL subwoofer, but it's such a small VAS. So if you were to go to a bigger box, you know, let's say half a cubic foot to 1 cubic foot, you'd obviously be able to play slightly lower. But the intent of this is to really have a much better flat response across all music genres, so you can really get the good bass notes, and it's just not peaky like some of those other subwoofers. But overall, very pleased with it. Let's go ahead and take some weight measurement of it and see what it weighs in at. There we go. We got our Trutzy scale here. Let's zero that out and let's put it on. So weight is 10 pounds, and I'm sorry you can't see that. Let me get this over here. We're looking at 10 pounds, 12 ounces. So again, very respectable for a very low profile subwoofer, and considering we're using very light components for the soft parts, like the carbon dust cap and carbon cone. Very, very impressive. And so you're definitely getting your money's worth in regards to something like this. So let's go ahead and do some free air. Oh, my video cut out there, guys. So let's go ahead and do some free air test, and then we'll see how that performs. We'll take some temperature measurements of the voice coil, and then we'll go ahead and get it mounted. But again, the Moegneto Audio 12 SQL D4 dual 4-ohm voice coil, all copper on aluminum former, 2-inch voice coil, carbon frame, carbon cone, carbon dust cap, aluminum frame, butyl rubber surround. We've got the frame ring on there, dual push spring terminals that can handle 8 gauge wiring for really good connectivity, and very low resistance points when you run that big copper wire over to it. So let's get on the bench and see how it performs. All right, guys, here we go. So I got it on the bench, just running 20 Hertz through it. Obviously this is not ideal as far as always playing a low frequency, but since I do all my other tests at 20 Hertz, why not give this a shot at 20 Hertz as well. So got very little power running to it, so 6 amps into, or 5.5 amps into the Hertz amplifier. So it's about 50 watts right now approximately. So let's just look at this. Very smooth. You don't hear a lot of mechanical noise on it, which is great. Not mechanically loud. Again, subs will differ. Some are loud in free air. Once you put them in a box, obviously you can't tell because of the back pressure or anything like that. But let's run a little bit more power onto this. I have to set it on its back just because it is low profile. So let's increase the power a little bit. There we go. Now we got some noise. And once we remove the, let's see, what do we got here? There we go. So we got about 200 watts or so. So yeah, 19 amps at the input of the amplifier, so approximately 200 watts running through it. Looks really, really good. Very quiet. Very, very quiet. Trying to see if my power supply here is, oh no, I'm just getting notifications on the phone, so that's what's slowing it down. Looks really, really good, guys. I really appreciate the how quiet it is, how smooth it is. You can obviously hear me talk just fine, and it's got pretty good excursion, and I'm just gonna have folks stop notifying me on my phone, and it won't cut out. So here we go. Now I gotta figure out how to take some measurements on the temperature without blocking out the ventilation. Sorry, I got using both hands here. There's the air in the back. If I plug the bottom plate, you can see the air. There we go. But moving really well. Love the soft parts. Very, very smooth. And here it is. So I'm gonna try to figure out how to get my my other hand on my FLIR and see if we can still get it to breathe, which let me pause there and give me 1 second. All right, Here we go. So I got it playing, got it stood up where I'm not blocking out the ventilation. So let's take some measurements here. So looking at the center dust cap, it is carbon, so it's going to conduct, which is a good thing because it's removing that heat. So we're reading about 106 at the moment with about 200 watts RMS, which is pretty aggressive on a free air for this type of subwoofer at the moment. Let's see if we get some measurements here from the back. And where are we looking? So we can try to look at the, let me get some focus up here, triple joint, and we're seeing about 117, 115. Again, nothing of concern, all copper. What I like is that it's dissipating that heat out to the surrounding environment, and you can see dissipating through the cone. Still maintaining, where are we looking at here? There we go, 118, 120. Overall, really, really good. I like this. I like how quiet it is, and it's still got some pretty good excursion on here, as you can see, for such a small, low-profile subwoofer. Well built, good components. So let's go ahead and get this mounted into a box and see how it does with how windy it gets. All right. So I got it all mounted in a small enclosure. This is a very cool little tiny slim enclosure, almost ideal for the subwoofer. So it is a ported box. I think it's about 0.35 to 0.4 cubic feet, which is, again, you know, when you're looking at tight spaces where you can fit behind truck seats, behind SUV seats, even under, you really want a small enclosure, but at the same time, obviously you want to get the best thing out of it, and obviously ported tends to be a little bit more efficient, though it is kind of peaky in regards to maybe a sealed enclosure that gives you a much flatter response. But we got it mounted in the small enclosure. These have really been popular, as we sell quite a bit of these in both the single and the dual 12 enclosures with the same configuration. So let's go ahead and run some power through it. What do I got going on here? So just 20 watts right now or so. So let's start turning it up a bit. Get some movement there. You can see a lot of air. And what do we got? 70 watts. 70 watts. So look how much it's already moving. This 20 hertz tone, and getting pretty windy. I expect that's going to fly off pretty soon with only about 70 watts. So really good excursion, very smooth. Love the look of this. All the carbon fiber, just really, really sleek. VTOL rubber, really, really, really cool. So let's try to give it a little bit more power. Again, 70 watts. Let's see. Oh yeah. About 150 watts RMS or so. Definitely see a lot of cool air movement. Now, can this go in the larger box? Absolutely, right? We already talked about the VAS for it. And the resonance frequency, you go to a slightly larger box, you'll be able to play lower frequency tones or tune it to a lower frequency. But again, the objective is to be able to kind of hit some bass with a much smaller air volume that you may not have. So here we go. Let's get this thing to fly off by just turning it up a little bit more. Oh, there it goes. All right. And what are we talking about here? 270 watts or so. So really good excursion on this puppy. See how windy it is. That's pretty cool. Just windy. All right, so let's take some temperature measurements over here. What are we at? 97, so cooler than it was in ambient air yesterday when we did free air, right? So, all right, not gonna see anything anywhere else, honestly. So it's just gonna be really the dust cap conducting 100 degrees. already. Nice and cool. No more than 230 watts RMS or so. It's an approximate. All right, guys. Well, here it is. The Moegneto Audio 12-inch SQL series, low profile, all carbon, dual 4-ohm voice coils, all copper wire on the aluminum former. We've got the butyl rubber surround, double spider ring, 8-gauge push spring terminals for both dual voice coils. So really impressive. I think you guys will be very pleased, as many of our customers have been already. Low profile, but excellent sound quality, great power handling, great build. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Let's get a slow-mo in here and see if we can wrap up the video. But if you're interested, visit us, moegnetoaudio.com. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, at Moegneto Audio. We've got our marketplace up. We've got our offer up. We've got our eBay launch. So I really appreciate everyone's support, guys, and base on.